Hey guys, AJ here back with another one for you. So I was looking at an article right here. It's called "The Astronomical Increases in Student Debt Are Keeping 42% of Teachers with Over a Decade of Experience from Paying Off Their Loans." So the gist of it is that a lot of teachers have a whole bunch of student loan debt, okay? And it got me to thinking, guys, this is why you don't date teachers. And this is going to be an entry in my long-running series of women who you shouldn't date. Guys, I have videos on why you shouldn't date lawyers, police officers, military chicks, the creative types, right? Chicks who use all the woke words and pronouns, right? Guys, this is why you don't date teachers. 3 reasons, guys. Number 1, teachers are broke. They don't make any money. Number 2, they're all 304s. And number 3, they have a whole bunch of debt. So we're going to get into this. But before we do, guys, like, subscribe, drop a comment because it really helps keep this channel going. Check out my second channel link in the description. And guys, check out the playlist link at the end. Look at this, guys. So National Education Association has released a report saying that 45% of teachers have taken student loans to fund their education, and 42% of those with 11 or more years of experience still haven't paid them off. 40% of that group has a debt balance of $25,000. 14%, $100,000. The average debt is $56,000. Now, you guys don't believe me and how broke and the average earnings. Hold on. Let's see what the average earning for teachers. Average salary for a teacher. Let's look at this. Average starting teacher salary is $38,000. Average salary is $58,000. Guys, that's broke. You don't believe me, guys? Let's go to the dumpster fire known as TikTok and check out what some of these knuckleheads have to say.
As a 23-year-old teacher, I believe I will never be financially free. And let me explain why. So my salary is just below $40,000 to start. Now, that is not including like any extra coaching I take on or whatever. But still, I take home barely over $1,000 every 2 weeks. Even at the bare minimum of rent, I have literally like $500 left over. I have to pay my car and then my insurance, to where literally I have like, I don't even know, like $200 left over for food, gas, fun. I put as much as I can away in my savings. I do have like different side hustles I have done throughout the year, and I also work a couple days over the summer at my old job. But without that extra income, I seriously would not be able to survive, let alone not be stuck in the cycle of I go to work just to make a salary, just to be able to afford my bills, and that's it. And that's how, as a teacher, especially like a young teacher in these days and age, how it's going to be for the rest of my life. And it's very, like, honestly unmotivating, because what am I working towards? It's just a cycle of I can't pay my bills, or I can barely afford to pay my bills, and I'm stressed about it every month.
There it is, guys. This is her choice, too. They chose this. She's broke as a joke. And look at this, guys. Her hashtags. Hashtag teacher pay. Hashtag teachers should get more money. Hashtag teacher broke. Hashtag broke teacher. Hashtag poor teachers. Hashtag teacher pay raise. Hashtag broke in the 20s. Hashtag work to live. And someone says, hey, yo, in their comments, I'm not knocking you, but teachers aren't in the most common profession to be millionaires. Someone said, I make more at my restaurant job. Clown.
So today was the first day of like the new payday period. I don't know why I just said that. Today was payday. And since I just joined a new county in a new state, there's new pay scales, and I was really excited about this pay scale. But it's not seeming to math. The math is not mathing, and I'm a little stressed, and I might have to get another job. And anywho, I'm drinking my $3 drink, which I'm gonna have to cut out because I'm so broke.
$3 energy drink. As he's complaining about being broke, she has a $3 whatever seltzer energy drink in her hand.
Also have plans tonight and tomorrow. I'm gonna have to get off like the dollar menu, even though it's a restaurant and like a rooftop place. Like, they don't have a dollar menu. I'll be like, can I have the dollar menu? Thank you. I'm broke. Teacher discount? No? Okay. Thanks. I'll eat the scraps from that table over there. Thanks. Okay. I'm crying in teacher. Bye.
Look at this, guys. Look at that. I told you. They're broke as a joke. And they laugh about this in their 20s until they hit 30, guys, and they crash into the wall. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, they want some simp to cruise on in. And guys, are hashtags. Hashtag teacher. Hashtag teachers of TikTok. Hashtag coastal teacher. Hashtag teacher life. Hashtag TikTok teachers. Hashtag dream job. Hashtag South Carolina. Hashtag math teacher. Hashtag broke teacher. Hashtag broke. Hashtag payday. Hashtag help. Hashtag money. Look at that. Look at that, guys. Clown world. Guys, this chick calls herself that purple-haired teacher. Come on, man. Would you want this person teaching your kids? I mean, honestly, dude. Come on, man. You know, this person's supposed to be teaching history, math, reading, writing, arithmetic, and guys, hey guys, let's turn to chapter 1 about. That's what I'm not having kids, man.
A conversation with my friends today about teacher pay, as I made a comment about coming into work on my classroom for free, and the thing that was said was, well, don't you get paid during the summer, so you're not really doing it for free. There was no harm meant by this comment. It's just coming from a place of not understanding. So I thought I would explain with numbers how teachers actually get paid in most districts. So I'm going to use some real numbers for examples. I'm using a salary of $50,000. That's not exactly what my salary is, but it's right around there. I've been teaching for 10 years to get to that point.
10 years to get 55,000.
182 days. Most schools have a contract of 180 days. Our district's just a little bit different. So most places, teachers do get paid every single month. So I do get a paycheck in the summer. In my district, we don't get the choice. Some districts let you choose whether or not you split it up over the school year or the summer. In my district, it's not an option. I get paid in the summer. So if you were trying to figure out what a teacher would make on a monthly basis, you would take the amount of days that they're going, or the amount of months they're going to get paid. In my case, 12. You take the salary, you divide it by 12. That gets you to this number. Now that's obviously a pre-tax amount, but for what we're gonna be looking at, pre-tax is important. So before anything comes out of it, that is how much a teacher on this salary would be making per month.
It's ridiculous.
Now, we're gonna use an example of just a random month. We're gonna use April, and we're just gonna say that April has an even 4 weeks in it, so 20 school days. And we are going to say that we are going to be out of school for 2 weeks. Maybe this is from an illness, maybe this is from a maternity leave, maybe there's just an emergency in your family. Whatever the case is, you have to be out of the classroom for 2 weeks, and you don't have sick time to cover that time. So they are what we refer to as docked days. So in the 4 weeks in April, we're gonna say that we have 2 weeks that are docked, and we don't get paid for those days. Now, I'm gonna show you what the misconception is of how that works, and then what the reality is.
Here we go, guys.
So we'll start over here with the misconception. The misconception is that I missed 2 weeks in April, so that means I should be docked for those 2 weeks. My salary is $4,600 or $4,167 a month. So if I missed half the time, you would take that amount, divide it in half. You might think that this is what I would lose from my paycheck because I'm only there for half of the days that I worked in April. But that's not actually how it works. In reality, what happens is they take my initial salary of $50,000. They divide it by the number of contract days because I only get paid for the days I actually work.
Which makes sense.
What I'm getting in the summer is money that my school district held on and didn't pay me yet, and they're now doling it out to me in the summer, essentially budgeting for me, right? So they take the $50,000, they divide that by the number of contract days. That means that every day I am in the building, I am making $275 a day. If I have 2 weeks that are being docked in April, that is 10 school days that I am missing.
Makes sense.
They would take that amount that I make per day, and they would multiply it by the number of days that I'm gone, meaning I would actually be docked $2,750, significantly more than the $2,083 that you might think.
Guys, that makes perfect sense, right? Because of the contract days. And of course, there's knuckleheads in their comments saying, that's highway robbery. Are you going to actually deduct them for the time? as per said in their contract?
How dare you?
This is even a misconception between teachers many times. I did not understand this my first time I had my maternity leave. I had my first maternity leave in the second year that I was teaching. They don't talk about this really in, when you go to college to become a teacher.
Maybe you should have had the baby during the summertime.
Break down your salary this way. So a teacher might expect to be docked this amount, and then they get docked this amount, and it's a big difference.
Guys, she goes on for a little while, but I honestly don't care at this point. Guys, these teachers are broke as a joke, and she decided to have a baby. Guys, her hashtags, #teacher, #teacher pay, #teacher salary, #salary transparency, #first year teacher, #first year teachers tips, #first year teachers advice, #the more you know, #teachers of TikTok, #teacher life, #teachers life. Please, guys, don't feel bad for him. Clown world. Look at that, guys. I told you, they are broke. Absolutely insane. And now, guys, more and more, we see all these 304s that are teachers that are banging all their students. You guys don't believe me? Let's check out the news.
Carolina, where 26-year-old biology teacher Gabriella Neufeld is accused of having sex with an 18-year-old student. These accusations all came to light on Wednesday. According to court docs, Neufeld engaged in intercourse or a sexual act at least 5 times since October 18th. While the interactions didn't happen at school, they allegedly happened with an 18-year-old male student. After an interview with police, Neufeld was arrested and booked into the Mecklenburg County Detention Center. She was later released on $75,000 bond.
Another case we've seen far too often. A Missouri high school math teacher is put behind bars on allegations she had sex with her 16-year-old student. Texas authorities arrested 26-year-old Haley Clifton Carmack on January 5th for charges of statutory rape, endangering the welfare of a child, sexual contact with a student, and fourth-degree child molestation.
A 2-year-old Tampa woman is facing charges after police say that she had an inappropriate relationship with a teen on social media.
And police think there could be more victims out there. News Channel 8's Nicole Rogers is live in the Tampa newsroom, or rather in Tampa, with the very latest on the investigation. Nicole?
Stacey, Josh, good evening. These are crimes that the police chief describes as unsettling and disturbing. That 22-year-old woman is now facing several charges, we're told, all started on social media. 22-year-old Alyssa Zinger is facing charges after police say she had an inappropriate relationship with a boy between 12 and 15 years old. Tampa police tell 8 on Your Side Zinger made contact with the victim by posing as a 14-year-old homeschooled student on Snapchat.
Dettori is no longer working with kids, but when she was a student teacher here at Lakota's Liberty Junior School, she became close and befriended an 8th grader. That's when prosecutors say the grooming began.
From student teacher to sex offender, 24-year-old Anna Dettori will now have to register as a Tier 2 sex offender for the next 25 years. Dettori had been a student teacher at Lakota's Liberty Junior School when she befriended a 14-year-old student.
This wasn't an older teenager. This was an 8th grade boy.
Prosecutors say the grooming behavior started while she was teaching, and it turned sexual after she left the district. According to a police report, Dettori picked up the teen from his father's house in the middle of the night, drove to a Monroe Park, and had sex with him. Dettori previously pleaded guilty.
I told you guys, all these teachers are letting all these young kids, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of them are married and have kids. Clown world, right? Look at that. Now, guys, back to the student loan debt. I said this once again. Guys, they have an average. What is the average student loan debt? $55,800 a year. They are waiting for you to swoop on in.
Here I come to save the day.
And take on all that debt and help them pay their bills, guys. Average of $55,800. And guys, they're never paying that off. They are never paying that off. And a lot of them are getting master's degrees. You know what I'm saying? to barely make much more money. It just doesn't make any sense. Why would any man do this? Why would any man date a teacher? And even then, guys, what I haven't even touched on is, look, violence in the classrooms for teachers. Look at this. 29% of teachers said that at least one violent incident. Look at that. So violence is on the rise. Look at this.
Julianne Mars started her teaching career in 1986 and spent most of her years at Newport News Public Schools. She says she loved it and went on to become an assistant principal for nearly a decade. But that's when things drastically changed.
I was kicked, spit on,
there it is,
hit, hair pulled, bruises on me when I would come home.
Julianne says she was attacked by students as young as 6 years old, claiming the abuse went on daily for several years. And she says it became so unbearable, she retired in 2019, much sooner than she planned.
And Julianne isn't alone. Several teachers I spoke with across Hampton Roads tell me they've also dealt with disturbing student behavior.
There it is.
Now, they didn't want to do an on-camera interview with me out of fear of retaliation from administration. But I did speak with another woman who left teaching after 4.5 years. She says she was afraid to go into work every day, and one scary incident was the final straw.
There was a kid who brought a knife for me. That's just how they act. Like they didn't like something you did, or they didn't like the class.
The former middle school math teacher, who asked me not to use her name, says violence in the classrooms happened so often it was almost normal.
You can't even think about teaching and the curriculum because you're worried about just keeping the behavior under control.
Look at that. All these kids walk into class, guys. And imagine being with a woman who's a teacher that's constantly on edge and stressed out because all these kids are all giving each other stone cold stunners and RKOs, right? And then she has to come home and dump it all on you, clown world.
As for Julianne, she now works at the college level at CNU. She believes the out-of-control behavior is having an impact on students going into the profession.
I've got students in the MAT program, the Masters of Arts of Teaching, and they're seeing this happen and they're questioning their career choice and their major.
Good, they
Data
should.
from the Virginia Department of Education shows at the beginning of the 2021 school year, there were more than 570 teacher vacancies throughout Hampton Roads.
Look at that.
A year later, that number jumped to nearly 1,000.
Man.
With Norfolk City Public Schools seeing the biggest shortage of 319 teachers. And the teacher shortage crisis is worse in Hampton Roads compared to the rest of the state, with a vacancy rate of nearly 7% compared to 4% statewide.
We need to teach kids how do you deal with your emotions because they're not getting that at home.
Yeah, that involves parents actually taking accountability. And for anyone that actually thinks that that's ever going to happen, sorry, guys.
You've been had. You've been took. You've been hoodwinked. Bamboozled. Led astray. Run amok.
Guys, I'm not having kids. Kids are doomed these days. So, all right, you guys, let me know what you think and if you would ever date a teacher. Because at this point, don't do it, guys. And I think I'm going to do a video on the women who you should date. Professions-wise, right? So, all right, you guys, this is AJ. I appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe. I'm out of here, guys.